My name is Taimi Kennerly and I am from New Zealand.
My name is Hao Hu and I am from Taiwan.
My name is Catherine Christensen and I am from Idaho.
My name is Kevin Hendrickson and I am from Arizona.
Aloha! Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
At BYU Hawaii, we believe in the human potential to rise above challenges through courage and determination. Mama, Louis, Christiane, and many others are extraordinary people we have met in small African communities. These individuals have defeated the odds and achieved miracles in their lives. They've accomplished what no one believed they could ever accomplish.
They are proof that when empowered, people can create change, not only for themselves, but for thousands around them.
In 2012, Kone joined our Enactus team with a simple and clear objective: fight child slavery and the poverty that causes it. Empowered through Enactus, Kone developed an initiative called Well Africa. His passion and determination enabled us to plan and execute projects impacting 44,000 directly and 2.5 million indirectly.
After starting Well Africa, Kone describes his first experience back to his home country of the Ivory Coast as being more powerful, yet more difficult than ever anticipated. He fought back tears as he visited the farms and saw children as young as 6 years old working there. He saw himself. He remembered his own dream when he was their age, to go to school. He felt deeply and personally the pain of their own unrealized dream. This journey would bring tears yet again when the machetes in the hands of these children were to be replaced with books and pens.
We spent 18 months engaging with local farmers on the issue of child slavery. With government and community support, we built a school where 300 children started attending in September 2014.
While education was an important step, we recognized from the beginning that in order to effectively address the issues these children face, we had to look at the big picture. We had to come up with a comprehensive solution for the whole community rather than a one-time project for one segment of the population.
The rest of our report will focus on how we've enhanced and leveraged the livelihood asset to improve the standard of living for people in 6 villages, taking them from the darkness of poverty and hopelessness to a world of greater promise and opportunities.
What generally comes to your mind when you hear the word Africa?
Diseases, famine, war, people in need. Sadly, this is not entirely wrong, and the most vulnerable are often women and children.
Christiane is a single mother with 4 young children. She's never been to school, nor does she know how to read or write. She's from a small village in the Ivory Coast called Konekereku, and where after the death of her husband, she was left with very few alternatives to take care of her family.
Mama, an 18-year-old young woman, was forced to marry a 70-year-old man when she was barely 14. Refusing to accept her conditions, she ran away, only to find herself sleeping on the streets 6 months pregnant. In sub-Saharan Africa, approximately half of the population still lives below the poverty line, and more than 80% of them are women.
Designed to empower women like Christiane and Mama, we launched the Women Empowerment Program, or WEP, designed to offer them the means to generate the resources they need to take care of their families. We began by meeting with the women one by one to gain a deeper understanding of their economic, cultural, and social situations. Our goal was to make sure the solution was in line with what these women really needed.
250 women were surveyed, and the results revealed that many of these women have the desire to start a farm or a small business. They already had the entrepreneurial mindset, but the lack of capital was preventing them from achieving their dreams.
A curriculum was created to teach them the necessary business principles of success, such as budgeting, supply and demand, accounting, investing, and microfinance to help these women get the adequate business trainings that will make them successful. As we implement the curriculum into the first village, however, we ran into a big challenge. The women there were not organized nor united on their success as a community.
To ensure the sustainability and the success of the WEP program, we decided to bring the women together using the cooperative model. With the structure of the co-op in place, we introduced the microloan program. Its success hung upon two key pillars: the training we provided and the relationship of trust between us and the co-op. The women were organized into groups of 5. We encouraged the co-op leadership to charge a $10 membership fee to ensure commitment. In addition, we challenged them to raise whatever extra money they could and promised we would match it as part of their loan fund.
We set up a few restrictions. Only 2 women at a time would receive a microloan. The women next in line would not receive a loan until one of the original loans had been paid off with the full 10% interest. The peer pressure would help the women stay on time with their payments, and the interest on the loan would go back into the fund to help it grow on its own. This last December, we visited the first co-op to evaluate the work that had been done. What we found on the ground was astonishing. All 250 women that we had surveyed and trained had joined the co-op and paid the full $10 membership fee.
They responded in a big way to our challenge. Their determination enabled them to raise $5,000 on their own. As promised, our team matched their $5,000 with our own $5,000, creating an initial loan fund of $10,000. As planned, a first group of 50 women each received a $150 loan. For Christiane, this was the first time she had been entrusted with that much money. 30 of these women decided to invest in their own small businesses, and the other 20 invested in farming activities, growing peanuts, chili peppers, and tomatoes.
These women went the extra mile. They created a 5-acre peanut farm that belonged exclusively to the co-op. Their goal was to generate additional funds for those that would potentially struggle with repaying the loan.
Our team helped build an eco-friendly marketplace, the first ever in the history of the village, using bamboo, offering these women a place of exchange where they are now selling what they produce. The WEP program in the village is in its 2nd year of operations, with 50 new women receiving small loans to start their businesses.
Fueled by the progress we saw, we decided to replicate our model in 2 other villages. Through a rigorous selection process, Aboiseau and Atiekro were chosen. Today, the WEP program is providing opportunities to more than 310 women and has created 20 new businesses in those 2 villages.
Christiane is happy. Her children are attending the local school and she runs her own business. Mama, on the other hand, is now a joyful single mother with her 2 beautiful twins. She now has her own business and can choose a husband for herself. Just like Christiane and Mama, 118 women are realizing their dreams, and 390 more are waiting for their turn to knock on WEP's door of opportunity.
We knew one thing. Our plan would not be sustainable unless we provided a way for the cacao farmers to better their situation as well.
These farmers are providing one of the world's most appreciated commodities, cacao. Cacao is the main ingredient used to make chocolate. The Ivory Coast, our area of focus, is the world's largest producer with over 35% of worldwide production. On the consumer side, we enjoy chocolate and can hardly live without.
However, the industry is facing a big crisis: supply shortages. The demand for these precious beans is skyrocketing, while on the other hand, the aging farmers are unable to maintain their production level. Analysts are predicting a shortage of about 1 million tons of beans by 2020. We wanted to help. Our response? Cacaonomics, a platform designed to train, empower, and equip farmers with tools they can use to increase productivity, improve their livelihood, and send their children to school. The Cacaonomics platform consists of 4 main components.
First, needs assessment. We met with Louis, a local farmer who inherited his farm when his father died. Louis had to battle with the cost of fertilizer, the poor condition of the road, and low productivity on his farm. the average farmer loses about 40% of the production potential every year due to poor farm management and still live with less than $2 a day. With a household of about 10 people, sending their children to school is never an option. With phase 1, we had a better understanding of what these farmers were going through.
Second, training. We initiated a training program to address these key issues. We focused on best practices and financial management. We worked with local agricultural experts and government agencies in the design and implementation of this program. We then organized farmers into stronger co-ops to increase revenue and bargaining power. These programs are now available online through our e-agriculture initiative.
Third, revenue diversification. The goal was to decrease farmers' dependency on the sole cacao income. We did this mainly by teaching the art of beekeeping to our farmers. We focused our efforts on training 100 farmers who are now training the rest. Now, our farmers can not only sell their honey, but can count on the bees to help pollinate their cacao.
The fourth one was the most difficult component, the cost of fertilizer. While visiting the farm, we noticed that millions of tons of cocoa husks were wasted every year, causing environmental challenge for many villages. Under the direction of our project leader, Bright Issachar, a senior in biochemistry, we researched a way to efficiently use these husks. After 3 months of intensive work and testing, we developed a method for using the extra husks to make compost.
The process is as follows. We dried the husks in the sun, put them on a grinder to attain a fine powder. We then tested the original fertilizer alone, the newly created compost alone, and a 50% mixture of compost and fertilizer on bean plants for a period of 2 months. Out of these 3 groups, the 50% mixture appeared to be the most effective. And with these results, we were ready to reach out to farmers like Lewis so that they could have access to a technology that would enable them to reduce waste and expenses at the same time. This simple process allows the farmers to reduce the amount of fertilizer they have to buy by 50%.
Now, 4,500 farmers in 12 co-ops have an additional disposable income they can allocate elsewhere. The villages have been cleaned up as the once ubiquitous cacao husks are recycled and used as compost. Many of the people in our village are better off now than years prior. However, there was one issue we recognized that could endanger the progress we were making. Malaria, one of the deadliest diseases in human history. September 2014 will always be remembered in our village. 5 children died of malaria in 1 week, leaving their families devastated and heartbroken. It was hard to find the right words to comfort a woman like our friend Vivian, who had just lost her 6-year-old son.
Malaria, a parasitic disease transferred by mosquitoes that claims the life of 1 child every 30 seconds. 300 million people are infected annually and 1 million of them die. Sub-Saharan Africa accounts for 90% of those deaths. To put this in perspective, this is the same as the population of San Francisco or Detroit.
How do you use entrepreneurial actions to solve a health problem like malaria? We had to be creative.
The people in the village already had mosquito nets and other resources to help fight against the disease, but it was not enough. We needed something that would reduce the rate of infection, not just the ability to care for those already sick.
Our response? A mosquito control strategy known as biocontrol. Created by the BMC Public Health, we would help the villagers raise fish, in this case tilapia, to manage the mosquito population and reduce the rate of infection.
Our team joined the community, and together we built fish ponds. We created the blueprint, led the work on the ground, and invested $900 to get it up and running. We eliminated all standing water in the village, forcing the mosquitoes to use our ponds to lay their eggs. There, the eggs were eaten by the fish. Since its installation, the first positive signs appeared immediately. The malaria cases in the village have decreased significantly, and no child has died. Encouraged by these positive outcomes, we've replicated these ponds in 2 other villages, hoping for the same results.
The ponds also created an economic benefit that will sustain the efforts in the longer term. The villages could harvest and sell the fish, generating about $5,000 revenue per village every year. Furthermore, to perpetuate the benefits of the project, we created a fund to help those who are still suffering from the disease to get adequate treatment. The project has been named Rollback Malaria.
Our work and effort has not only gained recognition from Ivory Coast government officials, but from national media. We demonstrated that through entrepreneurial action, lives can be changed, progress can be made, and humanity as a whole can hope for a better future.
This year, our team built a school where 300 former child laborers are now receiving their education. We empowered more than 500 women and organized them into a business co-op they now manage. Our microfinance concept has funded about 120 new businesses. We responded to the malaria outbreak in 3 villages, saving many children in the process.
Through Cacaonomics, 4,500 farmers collectively saved over $337,000, and 100 more adopted beekeeping as a way to diversify their revenue.
Where others see challenge, we see opportunity. While others fear failure, we fear never having tried. When others dwell on what is not, we dwell on what can be, what should be, what must be, and then we act, turning ideas into action, action into progress.
We are Enactus, Brigham Young University, Hawaii.
Thank you to the team from the United States. Judges, you may now begin the question and answer period.
So, good afternoon, and thank you very much. You obviously chose Africa as the site of the work that you did, and your personal history there is noted. Were there, understanding, of course, that you come from Hawaii, but were there no projects at home that you could find worthy of your focus?
We have many projects at our school. We focus on sustainability in everything that we do. So the reason why we presented on these projects is because we're only given 17 minutes, and each project is at its different level, and these are the projects that we felt were most appropriate for this presentation.
And I also think Africa has a lot to offer. Okay, some of those projects, for example, the Cacaonomics project, is treating one of the world's biggest challenges. From a small village in Africa, helping a small farmer can actually help the price of chocolate in Europe, America, or Asia.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I salute you for focusing on child education. You were driven by child labor, which you call child slavery. I didn't see in your film, maybe you will be able to explain to us, how did you manage to improve the quality of education? Because in such countries, usually education does not attract children. How did you manage to attract children to schools? How did you manage to convince parents to do away with the income that children bring home? And how did you monitor this? Thank you.
Our entire project was built under one statement, which is, for us, no one is guilty, but everybody should be responsible. I myself I went through that experience, and it would have been, at that time, very good to have somebody come to me and give me clothes, food, or maybe electricity. But the people that helped me were smart enough to give me education, which gave me, in turn, the power to choose for myself. And because I was able to choose for myself, I'm able to return to my country and make a difference. And through our strategy, we work with everybody. We work with the farmers. We engaged, it took us 18 months to get the farmers behind our plan. We work with the government. For the school, for example, they providing the teachers that they're paying themselves, taking away from us the biggest expense of running a school. So it's been a collaboration between us, the government, the community, the leadership. And to sustain our projects, we make sure that the projects are run and managed by the local people so that we can move away from one community to the other community, making sure that the people are taking care of themselves.
Thank you. Hi, back here. Hello, yeah. All right, well done, thank you. Regarding the Rollback Malaria project, within the rainforest, one of the most difficult things to do is to stop malaria because of stagnant water. How did you deal with other stagnant water problems within that rainforest to stop malaria? And were you able to measure directly how reproduction in malaria parasites come about? Because it's very quick. The larvas generate mosquitoes quickly.
So in our projects, we make sure, for example, the Rollback Malaria is a global initiative that has the fish pond part of it, but also there is an educational side of it, where we work closely with the communities to be able to kill all those water spots in the village, attracting the mosquitoes to our ponds. And my friend Hao from Taiwan will give you the matrix for our results.
So before we implement the project, we have 200 kids in our first village. And there are 80 of them were sick, 5 of them died. After the implementation, since last year, September 2014, until now, we have 0 deaths and 0 infection. And that's the result we can have.
Hello. Imagine you are revisiting these projects in 3 years' time. What are you seeing in terms of impact and sustainability of the work that you've done?
I will tell you what I'm already seeing. I'm seeing women in those villages creating their own businesses and being able to take care of
Your
their
time
children.
has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking the team from the United States, Brigham Young University, Hawaii.